Welcome dear students. This is a second video on practical problem for accounts of not-for-profit concerns. Today we will be solving sum number 9 on page number 119 of your government textbook. So let's begin reading sum number 9. Let's begin reading question number 9. Given below is receipts and payments account of Vithai Mahila Mandal, Pandharpur for the year ending 31st March 2018. Prepare an income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st March 2018 and balance sheet as on that date. Receipts and payment account for the year ending 31st March 2018. Before we begin, students, let us recall our symbols. On the receipt side, we will have income, which will be indicated with the symbol I, liability, which will be indicated with the symbol L, and there could be a sale of asset. On the payment sides, we will have expenses, which will be indicated with the symbol E, and asset, which will be indicated with the symbol A. Let's begin reading the receipt side and step number 1, identification. To balance brought down, cash in hand and cash at bank. This is my opening balance, students. So opening balance is never considered as we prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet at the end of the year. So we will mark a cross. Entrance fees is an income. Subscription, income. To miscellaneous receipts, income. We have now completed the receipt side. We will now move on to the payment side. Now students, before I read the particulars on the payment side, I want you to understand there is a mistake in the question. In the amount column, you see the total 46,350, but the amounts which are given is 600, 95, 830, 1,500, 45 and 15,650. The total will not come up to 46,350. So there is a 0 which is missing. So 600 is 6,000. 95 is 950. 830 is 8,300. 1,500 is 15,000. And 45 is 450. Requesting you to kindly make your changes in your textbook. So let's identify on the payment side. Stationery is an expense. Repairs to furniture, expense. Rent, expense. Salaries, expense. Miscellaneous expenses, expense. And balance carried down is my closing balance of cash in hand and cash at bank. So the closing balance of cash in hand and cash at bank will go in my asset. With this, students, I have completed step number 1, identification. Let's begin with our second step, reading of adjustments and marking star in the trial balance. Let's begin with the first adjustment. Capital fund on 1st April 2017 was rupees 90,000. Anything related to capital, students, we do not mark any star. Capital will be directly written on the liability side. Let's go to the second adjustment. Outstanding subscription rupees 4,000. So we will have to mark a star for subscription. So for subscription, I will mark a star. Adjustment number 3. Entrance fees are to be capitalized. So I have to mark star for entrance fees. So for entrance fees, I'll mark a star. Adjustment number 4. Rent paid includes rupees 800 paid for April 2018. So I have to mark star for rent. So for rent, I will mark a star. Adjustment number 5. They have following assets and liabilities on 1/4/2017. This is my opening balances, students. So they have given me opening balances of furniture, building and outstanding expenses. Let's see whether we have these in our receipts and payment. So students, if you see, I do not have furniture, so I don't need to mark any star. I do not have building, so I don't need to mark any star. And there is no outstanding expenses also given. So I don't have to mark any star. With this, students, we have completed our step number 2, reading of adjustments and marking star in our receipts and payments. We are now ready to begin with step number 3, entering it into our accounts. Remember, students, the ones which are marked star will be written in the inner column and the ones with no star will be written in the outer column. So let's begin from the receipt side. The first one is to balance brought down, that is cash in hand and cash at bank. I told you, student, this is my opening cash in hand and opening cash at bank balance. So we do not consider this amount. Next is entrance fees, and there is a star. It will be written on my income side. I will write by entrance fees. Since there is a star, I'll write it in the inner column, 3,500. Next is subscription, again on my income side, and there is a star. So on the income side, I'll write by subscription. I will mark a star and I'll write it in the inner column, 19,000. Next is miscellaneous receipts, again on my income side. So on my income, I'll write by miscellaneous receipts. I'll write it in the outer column, since there is no star, 850. With this, students, we have completed our receipt side. We will now begin from the payment side. We have stationery, which will be written on my expense side. There is no star, so I'll write it in the outer column. So on the expenditure side, I'll write to stationery. Since there is no star, I'll write the amount in the outer column, and my amount is 6,000 rupees. Next is repairs to furniture, again on my expense side. So I'll write to repairs to furniture. Since there is no star, I'll write the amount in the outer column. It is 950. Next is rent, again on my expense side. I'll write to rent. There is a star, so I'll mark a star and write the amount in the inner column, 8,300. Next is salaries, again on my expense side. I'll write to salaries. There is no star, outer column, 15,000. Next is miscellaneous expense, again on the expense side. I'll write to miscellaneous expenses. There is no star, so I'll put the amount in the outer column, 450. Next is balance carried down. That's my closing balance of cash in hand, which will be written on my asset side. So on the asset side, I'll write cash in hand, 1,650 in the inner column. Since they have given us the total, we just have to copy it. Cash At bank, again on my asset side, 14,000. So 14,000 plus 1650 will give me 15,650. With this, students, we have completed our step number 3, inner column and outer column. Let's begin with step number 4, adjustments. The first adjustment, capital fund on 1st April 2017 was rupees 90,000. Capital fund will be written on my liability side. So on the liability side, I will give the heading as capital and it will be written in the inner column 90,000. Adjustment number 2, outstanding subscription rupees 4,000. It's an outstanding income. So my first effect will be in my subscription. So on subscription, outstanding means add. So add outstanding for my current year. It's a subscription for current year. So I'll add 4,000 rupees. 19,000 plus 4,000 will give me 23,000 in the outer column. This is my first effect for subscription. Second effect will be on the asset side. I'll write outstanding subscription since it's an outstanding income. So outstanding subscription in the outer column 4,000 rupees. Adjustment number 3, entrance fees are to be capitalized. So we will capitalize our entrance fees. So let's come on to our income side. On our income side, I'll say less capitalize. So 3,500, we have to capitalize it. Outer column will be dash. This is my first effect. Second effect will be on my liability side. I have to capitalize it. So in my capital, I will add entrance fees. 3,500. Adjustment number 4, rent paid includes rupees 800 paid for April 2018. Student, our year is ending on 31st of March 18 and rent is paid till April 2018, which means we have prepaid our rent amount. Okay, so this is an effect for prepaid. So let's do the first effect. So the first effect will be on the expenditure side. I have already written rent. It's a prepaid. So I'll say less prepaid. Amount is rupees 800. 8,300 minus 800 will give me 7,500. This is my first effect for prepaid rent. Second effect will be on the asset side. I will write prepaid rent. Since it's a prepaid expense, the amount will come in the outer column 800. Adjustment number 5. They have following assets and liabilities as on 1st of April 2017. This is an opening assets and liabilities. Students, in the theory lecture, we have explained you opening assets and liabilities will be written only once. So we have furniture, building and outstanding expenses. The effect will be written only once. Furniture is an asset, building is an asset. So first write furniture and building. So on the asset side, I will write furniture. And since it's an opening balance, I write it only one time and the amount goes in the outer column 9,000. Building also will be on my asset side. Again, it will go in the outer column 70,000. Next is outstanding expenses rupees 12,000. This is my expense which was outstanding for my previous year. which means till now it is not paid, which means it is still payable. So it will be written on the liability side. On the liability side, we will write outstanding expenses, and the amount will be written in the outer column. Since it's my opening balance, it has to be written only once. So students, we have now completed step number 4, adjustments. Now do the last step, that is step number 5, closing the books of accounts. Okay, so first step, we will close our income and expenditure account. I will first total the debit balance of expenditure. When I total the debit balance of expenditure, I get a total of 29,900. Now in the same manner, I will total my credit side, that's my income. When I total, I get a total of 23,850. Now students, we will be using the ledger format. Double underline on both the side. Bigger total to be written on both the side. So I have 29,900 as my bigger total. So 29,900 will be written on both the side. From the bigger total, I will minus the smaller total. So from 29,900, I will minus 23,850. I'll get a balance of 6,050 rupees. The balance will be written on top. So students, here if you see, my expense is more than my income. In my business, when my expense is more than my income, which means there is a deficit. So I will write down as by deficit carried down. In the bracket, I will write down excess of expenditure over income. And I will close the bracket. Now since it is a deficit balance, students, I will have to take this to my capital. So I will come to the capital side. On my liability, since it's a deficit, I will say less deficit. 6,050. I can now total my capital balance. 90,000 plus 3,500 will give me 93,500 minus 6,050, 87,450 in the outer column. I will now total my liability side. So when I total my liability side, I get a total of 99,450. And I will also total my asset side now. So when I total my asset side, I get a total of 99,450. So students, we have tallied the sum and I hope you have understood the problem.